So I've been hearing a lot of people talk about, oh, the Eagles, defensive coordinator just got a head coaching job, and this is not Patricia 2.0. What a terrible thing to do. And I get it. The defense did not have a great day in this one, but how much blame do they really deserve? I think they deserve some blame. I do, but I don't know how much blame. I think there's also some legitimate things that maybe they're getting too much blame for. So I want to talk about it all. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's talk about what happened to the Chiefs and to the Eagles in the Super Bowl, and what happened with this Eagles defense, which was so good during the regular season. How did the Chiefs, how were they able to throw all over them? Well, first, the play you see on the screen is, again, something we have to talk about. It's the obvious one, but this is definitely something that was an error. Where, okay, first, it's a great concept by Andy Reid, right? You're having Kadarius Toney fake as though he's in motion. They've done a lot of motion throughout the regular season and throughout the playoffs, so you have to, prepare for the motion, and you see what Darius Slay is going to do here. Watch him call to his safety, say, hey, make sure you stay further deep, make sure we go with the switch right here. The issue is that Kadarius Toney didn't actually stay, go to the offense's left, and now he's just completely wide open. Mahomes is able to hit Toney, and they're able to get a touchdown. Now, is that a total fair thing to put on the coaching? I don't know about that. Is it fair to put it on Darius Slay? Maybe. I mean, Darius Slay did make a blunder there, but I think probably the bigger blunder is the next one. Almost immediately after, they would get a 3-and-out, they would get a big punt return, and then you were in this spot, and they're essentially just going to do the same thing. It's now Sky Moore and Avonte Maddox are the two key players here. Maddox didn't start off covering Moore, but will eventually cover Moore, and just watch Maddox. Watch him when he sees the motion run completely over the middle and just got completely fooled by it to, again, an easy walk-in touchdown. Is that something that they should have noticed? Is that something they should have communicated and been able to figure out? Maybe. I really don't know. I can see the argument on both sides. I could see you saying, like, yeah, you should be able to figure that out. You should have talked about it. You shouldn't have let that happen to you twice. Letting it happen to you once, it's football. Getting outsmarted by Andy Reid, join the club. But doing it twice, it's a little bit like you wish that they maybe could have had that communicated to each other. Hey, they did a fake motion, make sure you don't get fooled by it again. But maybe they didn't think Andy Reid would do it again. And again, it happened so quickly. They only had so much time to prepare for that. So I'll let you be the judge. I think something like this is something I brought up before, but is, I think, a fair argument, is people talk about the Travis Kelce of it all, right? How does Travis Kelce keep getting open? Which is a fair question. It's a fair question. How does Kelce continue getting open? And one thing that you have to talk about is, part of it is because he's an elite wide receiver. That's what he is. He plays tight end, and he will block as a tight end, despite what some people will tell you, but not as much as other tight ends, certainly, and he is an elite wide receiver. He can beat corners consistently, so you got to put your best one on him, I think. That's what they're doing here. Darius Slay is on Travis Kelce. This is smart football, but they're not going to continuously do this. It's again going to be motion that's going to get the Eagles in a little bit of trouble here, and you see why motion can be so valuable. I mean, so much of the Eagles getting outsmarted in this game was due to motion that the Chiefs would run, and it's why, it's very frustrating if you're a fan of a team that doesn't love motion, just how much value they're leaving on the table, essentially, where you have Slay covering Kelce, but Kelce's going to stop being the outside receiver. He's going to move toward the inside. So what that means is Slay's job is to cover the outside receiver on this play. So he's now instead going to let Marcus Epps cover Kelce, and then Slay will cover the wide receiver, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Watch, you see how the pass off happens, and now it's Kelce versus Epps, which is a mismatch, because Kelce versus anyone one-on-one is a mismatch, but especially when it's not a great corner. Slay has a chance against Kelce. Epps, it's going to be hard. Watch as Kelce just gets wide open right here, and he's going to be able to get a touchdown. And again, does Slay cover Kelce? He at least covers him better because he's Darius Slay and he's really good. And you would rather Darius Slay beat a guy in that position who can cover in that situation. And so that is a mistake. I think it's reasonable to criticize the coaching staff. I think it's reasonable to criticize the defense, while at the same time still saying, like, yeah, you were going up against kind of what you haven't had to go up against all season. And this is part of what my concern was for the Eagles heading into this game, was they're going to be playing against a much better team than they have had to play against all season. That's going to be a shock, and that is probably going to surprise them a little bit. And I think had they had a few games against caliber teams like Kansas City, they would have been a little bit more battle-tested and probably would have had better plans for some of this stuff. That being said, some of the stuff, I don't know how you have a better plan for. Like, even those first couple plays, I'm like, those are really tough. That last one, I think, is probably the biggest error, I would say. This one is one where it's just like, this is just Andy Reid and Travis Kelce being Andy Reid and Travis Kelce. Where it's starting off, you might look at this play and say, wait, what are you talking about? This is such a simple play. It's a zone coverage play. You're going to run play action and then have Travis Kelce run over the middle. I mean, this is a tale as old as time. Yes, which is why this is not what they're doing. Watch Travis Kelce and watch how he, instead of going over the middle, instead runs towards the top of the screen, completely faking out TJ Edwards, who's now on the ground. Part of that is trying to turn on this turf, which was not very good, or the grass, I should say, which is not very good. Whereas Kelce is now just completely wide open. This is just great coaching by Andy Reid, and I'm not going to blame TJ Edwards for getting fooled by an incredible move, right? Like, why would I blame someone for that? I don't blame the Patriots for getting fooled on the Philly special either, right? Sometimes you just lose to good football, and as the old saying goes, good offense beats good defense. Mahomes, of course, is not going to miss that throw. Kelce able to pick up some yards. A good tackle, I would say, to not let Kelce get up more by James Bradbury, but still, this is the kind of thing where it's like, I have a hard time putting blame on the Eagles for really a lot of what went wrong for them. A lot of times it really was just the Chiefs offense being awesome. That's what I thought. Again, I have some nitpicks. I have some things here and there. And to be honest, that's kind of how the criticisms felt, is it was nitpicks, but against the Chiefs offense, you kind of had to be perfect. That's kind of how I viewed a lot of it, where this one is a good example. It's going to be a play action. You have Juju Smith-Schuster going over the middle. Watch as, Philadelphia really did kind of bite on this play action. There is a window right there now where you can make this throw. Mahomes does, in fact, make the throw. Smith-Schuster does a good job of making the catch, which, the ball was a little bit behind him, but he still makes the grab and falls forward to pick up a first down. So good play by Smith-Schuster and good concept by the Kansas City Chiefs. And at the end of the day, that is kind of what I thought a lot of when watching this tape was like, maybe it's just me, but the majority of the time I'm watching this, I'm not saying, oh, the Eagles, what are you doing here? Why are you running this concept? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? It was more so me saying, wow, look at this great coaching from Andy Reid. Look at how he's getting players out of position. It was me saying, oh my God, Patrick Mahomes is amazing. Look at these throws that he's being able to make, and look at how he's able to get players out of position using his eyes and things like that. It was me legitimately saying, wow, look at these routes by Juju Smith-Schuster and by Kadarius Toney and by Sky Moore and even by Marquez Valdes-Scantling to set other guys up at times as well. It was Travis Kelce being uncoverable as he typically is, and there were some issues here and there with the Eagles defense. And I think it's fair to say, this Eagles defense was awesome all season long, and it did not play awesome in this game. I think it was fine. I don't think it was a collapse, and I don't think that they played poorly in this one. I really don't. I just think that when they had to play against great competition, they couldn't quite live up to the hype that they had all season. But it's hard to do when you're playing Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Travis Kelce, and I'll throw Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney and Marquez Valdes-Scantling and all those guys, and Juju Smith-Schuster on there as well, because I thought they all played well on top of it. And oh yeah, by the way, the offensive line was incredible. Now, one thing you could argue is, like, I have a little nitpick. I'm going to get into it more in a different video. I'm going to make a whole video about this aspect. But they weren't able to get much pass rush, and that's definitely something that's a fair concern, I think, and a fair criticism of maybe some things they did with, like, for example, not putting Reddick on Orlando Brown, which I thought they should have done. But as a whole, I thought this was more good offense than bad defense. But hey, that's what I thought. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.